today?
Building, you're moving it. Step it right up, you'll improve a bit. You're giving your all, you're waiting to fall. Then now you're watching that crucifix. You need to sacrifice to keep your mind straight. Don't give in to vices all the time. Your mind's been so sick, fuck it, you're just never righteous. You'll abide much in time. Do it every day until the grave, and it'll make you hollow. Making you angry, making you scared, it's making you unaware. On the outside looking in, it's an exhibit or aquarium. Scared of it, I'm scared of myself. I'm sick of this whole life thing right now. I am overwhelmed, I'm overworked and underpaid. So this is something else, sayonara, bye for now. I'm needing help, I work my ass off. I got my 9 to 5, suit and tie, I made it. I'm just doing it to make you smile. I work my ass off. I got my 9 to 5, suit and tie, I made it. I'm just doing it to make you smile.
Yo, 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 it's the Chop It Up podcast, man. It's your boy, Hog Life. And man, I'm telling you, before we get into it and I introduce my special guest, I'm going to tell you that was Suit and Tie by my special guest, Oddsox. As Oddsox, introduce yourself to the people.
Hey guys, how you doing? Thanks so much for having me. It's Oddsox here on the line.
Yes, sir. So tell the people, well, I know you're from Australia, so first and foremost, let's tell the people about the Australian music scene. Now you have to navigate through it.
Yeah, the Oz music scene at the moment, we're in a really amazing place. Like, we've got artists who are starting to sort of blow overseas, and the scene here is healthy. We've sort of got every kind of hip hop you can imagine. So we've got like a really strong scene, and we've got really strong bars hip hop. We've got really strong, more auto tune kind of hip hop. Really strong drill scene here as well. Honestly, Australia at the moment is just going strength to strength, so it's pretty awesome to be a part of it.
Yeah. So tell us what's been the pros and cons of getting your music out there, and how you would say you would have developed since making this song. And I believe this song is about a year old.
Yeah. Well, sort of pros and cons. Mostly, I mostly have a super positive experience when it comes to music. Like, it's honestly one of the best things I could have done in my life starting it. I'm really stoked to be part of such an amazing scene and meet such amazing people. In terms of artistry, I think that I've just started developing more of my own sounds and being more comfortable with who I am as an artist. It's also interesting, that song, it's a year old that came out, but it's probably about 2 years that it was written, and I was just in a completely different mental space when that was written. So it's, I think the more you grow as a human, the more your art changes. So, it just naturally evolves.
So, do you produce your beats, or do you have a producer? How do you go about setting up a project, putting the song together?
Yeah, in terms of setting up a project, I do some production, but I don't usually release under my own. It's sort of a dirty little secret that I'm working on by myself, because I've got many more people, a lot more talented than me, to work on music, luckily.
Yeah.
That project was executive produced by a guy from Australia called Hamley. He's absolutely brilliant. That song itself wasn't. That song itself was made in a warehouse at 3 a.m. with a bunch of people. So that's why it's a bit trippy. But yeah, mostly just get incredibly talented people to work with, and yeah, we just jump off from there.
Yeah. So, tell me, what inspires you to make music?
Good question. Pretty much just life in general, man. When it comes to it, like, I like to always just to be super honest with my audience and super honest with my art. Like, I started doing this sort of way to, almost like a therapy session, a way to just sort of get emotions out. And as it's come further and further, I think that I now really enjoy not just sort of putting stuff out there bluntly, but also just trying to look deeper into stuff and trying to make concepts. Like that last EP was a concept EP. My next one that's coming out's another concept EP, and I just think it's really cool that we can sort of tell a story in just another medium.
Yes. What are some artists that has influenced your artistry?
Artists, well, at the moment, my sort of most listened to artist would have to be Code the Friend. Mac Miller's another one that was super influential in my life. I sort of grew up in that Dat Piff era, so when I think about artists that I sort of grew up listening to, it was like J. Cole, ASAP Rocky, Kendrick, all those sort of guys. So I think that I've fallen in that. But yeah, at the moment, the two most listened to on my Spotify, Mac Miller and Code of the Friend.
So, who are some of the people you have collabed on a track with? That you know, might want to give a spotlight to, a shout out to.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I've got a bunch of really amazing friends. I haven't done a huge amount of collabs, but I'm definitely looking to change that. But from Australia, if you don't know them, Clue is an incredible artist. I've got a song coming out with Connor Jones. My last song was with a Sydney artist called Joey Maker. That project didn't have many collabs. I know I had Boygrad on it, and I had a wonderful singer as well. But yeah, we've got this amazing Melbourne scene at the moment. If you know, I've just got on Spotify the artists also sounded like, and all of those guys are great homies. So they're always a good jumping off point if you're trying to find a hip hop. Sorry, man, I couldn't hear you just
Oh no.
then.
What I was about to say to the children. Oh, when you get in the studio and you're making a song, what what is the creative process like? Like, do you draw from real life? Do you draw from things around you? Is it a certain sound that you may hear?
Yeah, I think that's sort of changed over time. My process with that, like, it definitely always used to just be grab from real life every single time. I think more and more now I'm trying to become get my musicality better. So like I've been really working on trying to um, I've been listening to a lot of jazz records and stuff, and really trying to incorporate that to my sound. So a lot of the time, I'll get in a room with one of the producers that I'm working with, and I'll just be singing just melodies I've got in my head, and just spitballing ideas and whatnot, and we tend to work from there. So we're starting. It used to always just be, this is the song, this is the concept, here's the lyrics, and now it's definitely getting to trying to be more musical and trying to make something more full.
Absolutely, absolutely. I ask everybody to come on the show. I think it's important, imperative. I tell to a lot of people, know your worth and know your value, and I ask them what's more important to them. As far as their music is concerned, having creative control or the money and the fame.
um, Look, it'd be very easy to say creative control, and I think that the art that I make is something super special. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that money isn't a driving factor, an important thing in my life, because the more money you have, the more art you can create because you're not having to work as much. But yeah, at the moment it's definitely more in the art sort of way, but definitely not going to pretend that money isn't an important thing.
Yeah, absolutely. But the reason I asked that question, like I said, is because I believe that all artists should be aware of their value and their work.
Absolutely.
And because I see a lot of American artists all over, get with these big companies, and they have a hard time getting their masters.
Yeah,
And, and masters is their original work.
Oh yeah, of course.
They created off the mind, and it's crazy. They be making these companies so much money and they don't have that control. So that's why I asked that question, because I want people to realize they're working.
Of course. I think we've all got to realize, as independent artists, we're just like, what are we bringing to the table? Because the idea that someone's going to sign you, if you're not selling out big venues and you're not getting a lot, like absolute bucket load of streams, you got to ask why they're doing it at this point. And so I think that it's like if you're not dictating the shots, so if you're not in a position where you've already got that inbuilt fan base, they're probably trying to screw you over with the deal. So I think it's much better to get to a point where they need you more than you need them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Totally agree. Um, like, what genre would you say? Like, what kind of artist are you trying to be? Like, you say you were trying to establish what kind of artist that you want to be. Did you figure that out? Did you kind of get an idea of the direction you wanted to go?
Yeah, I think I definitely am leaning more in towards making sort of more jazzier tunes. So as I mentioned before, sort of Mac Miller, Code of the Friend, those sort of more, even stuff with like good smooth jazz samples. I think that, but at the same point, I'm now at a point where I'm like I've got my influences that I super love, but I think I also want to just make the first sort of Oddsox music. And I think that's something important to me is to now, I've done a lot of work that sounds, that obviously the influences are so heavy, and I
Hmm.
think now I'm really trying to just pave my own lane.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If there's anyone well, I think I know where this question gonna go, but if there's anyone you could collab with, who would that be?
Oh, that's a big old question.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm trying to think because maybe I should pick an American artist because that's where you guys are based.
Mm-hmm. Motivate you.
Yeah, well, in Oz, there's this guy that I sort of grew. I got into hip hop like the opposite way. I started like Australian hip hop and then found out that American hip hop's like the best, obviously. Um, and so there's this guy in Australia called 360 who's just incredible. Who's someone who's always been on my bucket list to work with. Other Australian artists are Remy and Ivan Ooze. They're just like really influenced me early. In terms of big artists, there's dudes in America. I'm trying to think of more independent artists who are gettable because obviously we all want a J Cole feature, but we need to set realistic expectations. I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I see a lot of people say Logic. I see a lot of people say I would do
Yeah, yeah. Logic's cool. He's probably not one of my first choices, but he's dope artist.
yeah. Dope artist. Shout out to Logic. Tell the people on what social media platforms they can find you, find your music.
Yeah, I'm practically everywhere excluding TikTok. It's all just the social media platform /Oddsox Music. I'm relaunching my YouTube channel next year to have a lot more content, so that's probably the best place to start, and Spotify.
So, tell us what was the thought process behind making Less Than Yesterday with Joey Maker.
Oh yeah, that song sort of Joey's awesome. Like shout out to Joey, he's just incredible. But Less Than Yesterday is a song that's sort of I've sort of struggled with mental illness for a while, but
Mm-hmm.
that song's sort of like the aftermath.
Mm-hmm.
So when all's said and done, when you start to get a little bit better, and you realize when you're sort of not well, you're not always the best person,
Yeah.
and then you've got to sort of deal with that fact. And so it's for me, that song's all about learning to forgive yourself and learning to move on in your life. And I think that it's like, and it's also about the shades of grey. The fact that like even I think artists love to talk about um, when they're at the lowest and when they're at the highest, but I think that there's a whole middle section that constantly gets left out. And so like that song's sort of about even though you're working and trying to get better, there's still you're still going to struggle. Life's not a simple one path. So I think I was just trying to encapsulate that.
Yeah. How was it doing the What's Poppin' remix, the Jack Harlow What's Poppin' remix? Because I saw you did that too. 'Cause that's a hot song.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, to be honest with you, I just love. Oh, sorry, probably shouldn't swear. I
And you
absolutely
good?
love.
Hey, so yeah.
Sweet, sweet. I've been holding back. I love that song. That beat is one of the hardest beat. Definitely, I reckon the hardest beat of this year. came out this year. Who knows what is time in the coronavirus year? But that song, and I just had so much fun. I think so much I try to make these concepts and make these really deep introspective things. Sometimes it's just fun to do bars, man, and like that was just so much fun.
Tell us about 2024.
Yeah, 2024 is the song. It's on the concept EP High School Reunion.
Hmm.
So the idea of 2024 is in 2024 would be my 10-year reunion.
Hmm.
So the idea was looking into the future. If I hadn't achieved what I'd wanted to,
Hmm.
um, getting a false sense of ego to try to overcompensate for that fact. So yeah, that song's meant to be like a super. It's like braggadocious, like smash punching your chest kind of thing, but it's coming from a more vulnerable place.
Yeah, to get see what I like about your music is so relatable. But I will go back to the depression thing, and I heard you say you made that song to let yourself know it's okay to forgive yourself. And sometimes we
Yeah,
need that assurance, and it's good to find
yeah,
ourselves,
absolutely.
that it's okay to be imperfect, you know.
Yeah,
And that was really deep. So yeah, check this young man's music out, man. Like it's a couple we can talk about. We got 151 Rum, the JID remix. I mean, that's tell us about Separate Ways. This was from 2 years ago. See, I'm only asking these questions because I wasn't on his music then. I got on this music because of Less Than Yesterday, but I didn't know that's what it was about. But
yeah.
yeah,
How did you find our lesson yesterday?
YouTube, YouTube. Me
Yeah, no.
me being just a person that loved to listen to music and gravitate towards it, and that's kind of how it went.
Yeah, dope.
So yeah, man,
I'm so thankful.
absolutely. That's why
Yeah,
I tells people, man, get out, support. There's artists out here that need to be heard. That has something to say and they need to be heard. Like mental depression is an issue, and if there's anybody out there on the sub point, there's anybody out there that's suffering from it, just know that you're not alone. There's people out there that's going through it with you.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? Reach out to
yeah,
somebody if you
100%.
need. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's a deep moment. If you know anybody out there, with mental depression, suicide attendants or whatever, reach out, talk to them. They don't need nothing but a friend, somebody to listen. An open ear. That's it.
Yeah, 100%, man. And I think that as well, just remembering that there's, even if you don't want to reach out to a friend, there's so many great like mental health services
Mm.
um, that you can reach out to. Like I don't know exactly what it's like in the US, but over here we've even got a thing you can text if you're a person who feels uncomfortable doing phone calls, you can even text it. So there's just like just some wonderful things to try to get you over that hump and to get better.
Absolutely. Cause that's why I said like technically his music is great. I can't wait to see what you're doing in the future. Say you're gonna reroute the YouTube page, put out some new stuff. We can't wait to see what you do in the future. It was a pleasure having you on.
Absolute pleasure being on, man.
Um, Hopefully have you on again
Oh,
when you do some new
love
music.
to be.
Absolutely, absolutely. Uh, yeah, y'all, man. We appreciate y'all for being here, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. You know, show the channel some love. Keep on supporting this, the Chop It Up podcast. It's your boy Hawk.